Hello and welcome back to Starcastic Remarks, the late night edition. Along with Chris and James, my name is Ryan. We welcome you into the studios this morning, I guess, wherever you're listening. I guess for Eden, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, but whatever. Thank you for listening to us. If you're still listening to us, you're crazy because it's late. But unfortunately, the Dallas Stars tonight do fall in the shootout by a final score of 3-2, taking the 1 point. But honestly, gentlemen, I kind of view this as a point lost rather than a point gained here in tonight's game. What are y'all initial takeaways from this before we kind of dive down deep into this?
Yeah, a lot of similarities to last game. I mean, two really great goalies. Not a lot of goals, but it felt like there really could have, should have been a lot of goals in this game if it wasn't for the two goalies. And yeah, I don't know. It feels similar, but we kind of flipped the script a little bit too. The Stars had a really bad third period, I felt like. So it's frustrating to end the game on the wrong note.
Yeah. And really, I felt like a lot of that was more due to just us playing back some, which is not like a bad thing necessarily. But once the other team gets that equalizing goal, you're never crawling back in the game. It's just not happening. It's so hard to do.
I honestly didn't think that the third period was all that bad, Chris. Seriously, enlighten me. I'm curious why you think it was such a bad period. What made it really bad for you?
Well, like James said, it was fully sitting back with a 1-goal lead on the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, the shots on goal this period were 12-7, the most lopsided one we've had so far this season. And there was plenty of chances for the Vegas Golden Knights to score if it wasn't for Ottinger. I mean, Ottinger is the only reason we made it as deep into the third period as we did. And then they only scored on one that Ottinger didn't have a chance of saving because it was deflected. So the reason that we did well in the third period was because of Otter. They had several chances to score when we had no pressure. Was the other thing. No offensive pressure in the third after we scored. There wasn't any.
I disagree with you a little bit. I feel like we were playing with some offensive pressure. We had some chances in the third period, but I agree with you in the fact that it was nowhere near as good as the second period. The Stars came out in the second period, gentlemen, and took over physically. That was one of the things that they came out with, and I thought that was going to continue through the third period, and we didn't really see that tonight. What did y'all think about the physicality in the second period?
Yeah, if you want to see why the hit stat is a terrible stat and changes stadium, Vegas Golden Knights beat the Stars in hits 40-17.
Yeah, that's just not true.
Game knows that is incorrect. So what a great stat there. But yeah, I love the physicality that the Stars came out with. And it really felt like a playoff game, and which is it should. And this is the game to circle the first month of the season, really. The defending Stanley Cup champion, the team that knocked you out in the playoffs, and the hottest team in the league right now. And that's a great opportunity to knock them off and to get a big win under your belt going into a pretty tough road trip here. And yeah, it really sucks not to get this one when they had a good chance to close it out.
And overall, I mean, the game was really, really, really fun to watch. Just like spectator.
Great game.
There's
it was a great
hits.
game.
There were 2 fights, which hasn't happened in the Stars game for 5 years. If y'all heard that stat, 5 years is the last time that happened. And we won both of them pretty handily. So.
Now, the one thing that was kind of popping in my head about this game is I don't feel like we played horribly, but this was a game that I thought Vegas played better than the Stars. But again, I also felt like based off of the way the Stars played defensively, this was a game that they probably should have stolen, that they probably could have won. And if you're a good team, you find ways to win. And I'm not saying that the Stars are not a good team or anything like that, but this is a game that I felt like they could have stolen tonight. And they had a really good goal from Smith there off the rebound in the first period. And then they won a face-off at a key time at the beginning of the third and then kind of scrounged the lead away to the Vegas Golden Knights. So that's kind of where my mindset is kind of going. I don't think we played horribly, but we played well enough to win. And this is a game that we should have probably stolen if we're as good of a team as we think we are.
I'm more upset at being put in the position to having to steal the game because I agree. Golden Knights overall were a little bit better than the Stars tonight, I feel like, especially on their forecheck. But the Stars shouldn't have even been in that position. We should have dominated this team. They're missing 3 of their starting defensemen. What we should have done, we should have put the puck in deep, gone after those guys. There wasn't any of that. Stars forecheck tonight, not very existent at all, if you think about it. And that's where you should have been putting the pressure on them, is on the forecheck and making those defensemen make quick plays. And it didn't really feel like the Stars did that tonight. They were great on the rush. They were great getting set up when they were in their own zone. They had great scoring chances when they were set up in the offensive zone. They have to make the other team's defensemen try and make a play, especially when it's the young guys and guys that aren't used to being in there. And I feel like the Stars did not take advantage of Vegas not having their full defense.
I think that's why we looked so good in the seconds, because we were hitting every single chance that we got. Anytime anyone touched the puck, anytime someone looked at the person with the puck, they got hit. I mean, it was great. And then we kind of got towards the end of the period and we took those 2 penalties and we went like full defense mode, which, like, yes, 5-on-3 full defense mode, but we just never got back. We never got back to the forecheck.
I didn't think. I really don't think this game was as bad as y'all are making it out to be. And maybe
I don't
it's just
think I'm
me,
saying that
but-
it's bad.
I'm not saying that it was terrible, but the Stars, when the other team has 3 missing starting defensemen, you should be dominating. I didn't say they got dominated themselves. It's a pretty even game. Like we said, a good game to watch. The Stars should have taken control of this game with where this team is at. I mean, with having 3 missing defensemen, you got to attack that, and the Stars didn't do that.
Now, y'all talked about the forecheck a little bit. I think this is a good segue into this. What was the best forward group for you tonight? Which line was the best? Because at different points in the game, I felt like different lines were better. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Because I have some of my own.
I still think it was the first line. They had a very, very slow start. The first period, they were basically non-existent.
Oh,
But
Vegas was slow too, to be honest with you. It was a kind of lackluster first period.
But it's still the first line. I mean,
Yeah.
and then hence it felt like he slowly started to catch up to the game speed over the course of the whole game, even going all the way into overtime. He was just slowly catching up. And by the end of the game, I mean, that line looked very deadly. Surprised they only got the 1 goal off of that face-off win.
Yeah, but if we're talking about forecheck, I would say the Ben Johnston Dodonov line had the most consistent forecheck throughout the game. And kind of crazy stat here. Guess which forward has leading Stars time on ice? Wyatt Johnston, 1944.
Wow.
Leads all Stars. Crazy. But he had a great night. He was aggressive all over the ice, always looking to shoot. Was doing a good job of forechecking into the Vegas zone and making them make decisions.
He also plays in all three different kind of solutions. That's not the right word. I can't think right now. 3 different kinds of, you know what I'm talking about. He plays power play,
Special
penalty
teams.
kill, and 5-on-5. Yes, thank you, James. I words are hard for me, and it's almost 1:00 in the morning, 2:00 in the morning for James. But for me, the way I looked at it, I thought that the only line that looked like really good in the first period was what you mentioned, Chris, was the most consistent line of that Johnston line. And then in the third period, it was definitely the top line that looked a lot better.
For sure.
And so maybe this is just a one-off. I mean, Hintz only got 16:44 in ice time tonight, and I kind of expected that considering this is his first game. He never played preseason. He barely was in training camp. So we'll see if he can get going over the course of the next couple of weeks, and maybe that'll help him get going. But it just really sucks that we were not able to rely on him as much tonight. Apparently, we relied on a 20-year-old instead of Rope Hintz tonight because we just didn't want to push the fact that we really need him to stay healthy, Rope Hintz. So I understand all that, but let's talk about. I want to get into the whole Kolasar hit on Ben a little bit. That. I don't understand. I don't understand that. Ben was not going. Okay, we know Ben is a pest, and he does things sometimes to pester people. But it was really obvious in that particular moment, he was not looking to try and pester somebody. He had passed the puck off. He was looking up the ice to continue the play. And Kolasar, it wasn't even an accidental hit. He leaned into it and laid him out. And it was away from the play, and 100% should have been a penalty, 10 out of 10.
And that's
the even more frustrating thing about all this is that Vegas had four power plays tonight. Dallas had 2. One of those 2 power plays the Stars had was 30 seconds. And that was a obvious big time in the game. It was a clear penalty and it was not called.
Yeah. And Vegas got an extended 5-on-3 that was killed off as well. So that's a whole
there was a lot of frustrating missed calls. Like the fight that Marchment took, that's an instigating penalty against the Golden
Stars
Knights.
got that called 5 times last year.
He hit someone and they instantly went over. They cross-checked him and then someone else dropped the gloves and fought. That's definition of instigating. So there was
honestly, if that's not a penalty this year, I'm fine with that. But it was last year is the annoying part, and the Stars got it called on us every single time.
And then like no calls on Miro Heiskanen tonight, which is
oh my goodness,
absolutely stunning. He had been hooked at least 20 times tonight.
That's what I'm more upset about is that Heiskanen didn't get any calls tonight. That was super frustrating. But I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. If the Stars did get those calls, what would have happened? Probably a whole lot of nothing. Because the Stars power play has been abysmal to start the season.
Yeah.
The second unit has looked substantially better than the first unit, and that is not good.
No, I disagree with that on some points because I actually wrote down in my notes this evening that the second unit did not do all that great tonight. But honestly, both units did not look very good tonight.
Yeah,
either
they both
way.
weren't good. That's fair to say for sure.
It's going to take some time. Again, we got some new guys who are on both of the units. I feel like
first unit's the same.
Well, it wasn't last game.
It wasn't last game.
This
so
game
it was Sagan. Sagan was playing on the top unit. Hintz has not been playing on the top unit. And then we've got 2 new guys on the second unit with Duchesne and with Nils Lundqvist, who is quarterbacking that power play unit. So that's just going to take some time. It's going to take some synergy to get that going. But a good positive outlook. Look at the other side of special teams tonight, guys. The penalty killing has been excellent. Absolutely excellent. There were some players tonight who had some rough games, but they definitely made up for it in the penalty kill side of the game with Hakanpää and especially with Lindell, who had a very like Bonnie and Clyde, hot and cold kind of game. It was weird. So what did y'all think of the penalty kill overall tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give my biggest winner just right now to Hakanpää, especially after us berating him last game, saying how bad he was, and he did. He had a bad game. Comes back tonight and was outstanding. The 5-on-3 penalty kill that he had with Lindell in the box, he was fantastic, stepped up in a big way there. Just overall defensive throughout the night was amazing. He finished his night 21-16. Last game, I think he had 16 minutes total. So vastly improved time on ice. And I'm really liking this use of the defensive lines of whoever's playing good, they're playing more. I really like that the D-line staff is going with. So yeah, biggest winner is Hakanpää for me. Great game by him.
We're able to do that too. That's what's really nice. I mean, the 2 defensemen that we were kind of like question marks on, they in these first 2 games they have looked really, really good. I mean, very, very strong and very promising.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the time on ice for the defense for a second, since we're kind of bringing them up a little bit. It's a lot more balanced tonight than in the first game. I mean, if we remember, Heiskanen played almost 30 minutes and nobody else even played over 20, I don't think. And tonight, when you look at the defense, Hakanpää 21-16, Harley 20-23, Heiskanen with 24-44, Lindell with 18-10, and Lundqvist with 17-41. So that is extremely well balanced. So I feel like the thing with that defensive group is that I'm gonna pick on Lindell a little bit. He had a really rough game, especially at points and in his own zone. But he did make up for it at the beginning of the third period with the rush chance that he had, and then he was excellent on the penalty kills. So it really what I'd like to see more of from the Stars going forward, I guess, is the defense looks fine, especially the team defense looks great. It looks perfectly fine. Where's this offense coming from? We've been hearing about all offseason. Like, where are the goals going to come from? And I think that's one of my biggest takeaways tonight is 2 goals ain't going to get it done. It probably should have gotten it done tonight based off of the way that Otter played, but it didn't. So it's first to 3 wins.
And I think we're going to see that dam break here in the next game. We saw 2 fantastic goalies in a row. I mean, those are going to be two of the best performances of the month. I feel like that we saw back to back in the first 2 games of the season. So we get these guys against a little bit of a softer goalie, we might see a barrage because they're getting the chances.
Yeah. And also part of it's early season stuff too, because I mean you saw with the Blues and the Golden Knights as well, they both had like tons and tons of chances against Otter in that game. I mean the Golden Knights had 2 empty nets to shoot on tonight, and both hit the post. Yeah. So you're seeing players start to get back up to speed too, and that's pretty obvious in tonight's game as well.
Yeah, defense is always ahead of the offense when you start the season.
What have you seen from Duchesne so far? Because that's been a real hot topic, considering he's the new shiny toy. Do you dislike it? Do you like it? Kind of indifferent at this point. Not enough capital to look at. What do you think?
I like it. I like his aggressiveness and his selfishness with the puck. I like that he'll just take the puck and go coast to coast with it. I really enjoyed that so far. He's extremely confident guy with the puck. Really cool to watch.
We just got to see him actually show up on the score sheet now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is kind of a critique that everyone can take, but he's got to shoot more. And that goes for everybody too. I mean,
especially tonight.
Yeah, especially tonight. Guess who led the team with shots on goal?
Harley.
Esa Lindell.
Oh, wow. That's really
4
surprising.
shots on goal. Second least time on ice for defensemen, and he led the team with shots on goal. Next guy was Johnston with 3. But yeah, everyone's got to shoot more.
I kind of want to talk about, we kind of talked about each line, but other than the third and the fourth line, so the bottom 6. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can really count Duchesne and Seguin as the bottom 6. Maybe it's a top 9 and a bottom 3. But what did you see out of the third line tonight? I know they haven't gotten the chance to really play much together, Seguin, Duchesne, and Marchment. But what did you think of their play tonight?
Yeah, I'm still not happy with the way Marchment is playing. He gets no shots on goal tonight and gets a -1 and a penalty. That's still pretty upsetting. The line is definitely not gelling right now. I feel like there's not a good cohesiveness. Yeah. And the one time that line looks good is when Marchment is actually off the ice and it's Craig Smith on the ice instead of him, and he actually scores the goal. So, yeah, I don't know. The common denominator keeps going back to Marchment. That makes me really upset.
Yeah. And, I mean, we are going to see a shuffle of it if that continues. I mean, we have the players to flip Marchment down to the fourth line. He'll still be physical.
Would be really good.
Yeah, he'll still be physical like he always is, and he's a big body and he'll hit people, but he'll be overpriced fourth liner is what it's starting to look like, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you keep trying Marchment there for a good bit here just because you really want that to work. But I tend to agree with you. Dellandrea would be very good in that spot as well. I mean, Craig Smith could do that too. He looked fantastic.
Say, yeah. And speaking of Craig Smith, I really like the fourth line tonight. I obviously they're not expected to go out and score a whole bunch of goals. Craig Smith did when he was on the pseudo third line, but I really liked the play of the fourth line tonight with Craig Smith, Fox, and Dellandrea. I mean, all 3 of them looked great in the roles that they played. And Craig Smith actually ends up getting a goal again, not really with the fourth line, but still he is one of the fourth line players, and he produced offensively tonight.
Yeah, when it's Smith and Delic going up the ice, that's like a legitimate offensive threat. The only problem is whenever Fox touches the puck, there's no offense to be had.
He just doesn't have a
this
shot.
Was coming, the Fox of slander.
I'm going to slander him if he deserves slander. It's even more obvious now that we have Craig Smith actually instead of Glendening there because he has good offensive acumen and he works well with Deli, and you can see that when they have 2-man rushes up the ice. Fox, again, has a wide open in the offensive zone with space and time and shoots it right into the guy's shin pad right in front of him. I mean, every time he gets a decent look in the offensive zone, it turns into nothing.
And it really, it feels like it comes back to a shot every time. I mean, it's just not good enough.
Yeah, just don't shoot then.
Pass it.
Just dump it in every time.
Janmark moment. You have a breakaway down the ice. Just turn around and pass it, dude. Turn around and pass it.
I still remember when he did that.
That was the funniest thing ever.
I still remember that play. I got 2 more things, guys, and then I'll open the floor to anything else that y'all want to talk about. The first thing is the play of Ottinger tonight. We talked about it very briefly, but since Chris already gave his biggest winner, my biggest winner is Jake Ottinger tonight. He was the sole reason why the Stars did not lose in overtime. There were 2-2-on-1s, and he made, especially the first one, was a gargantuan stop. And here's the other thing is like those stops are huge, and he makes it look so dang easy. Like he makes everything look easy right now. He looked completely gelled in, zoned in, and it's really nice for the Dallas Stars to have a bona fide number one goalie in their net.
And we always talk about the confidence thing with Otter. That's when he's at his best, is when he's making stuff look easy and he's super confident and he's blocker punching pucks out of play when he doesn't even have to. That's when Otter is at his best, when he's ultra confident, and he is right now, like you said, Ryan.
I'm going to give my biggest winner to Craig Smith. He had the goal, the opening goal looked really good. I mean, that was that a pass from Sagan, or was it a rebound? Because I thought it was a pass.
I think it was a pass. I think he meant to do it. I think he knew he
meant
had
to do
no
it
angle.
too.
Yeah.
It was maybe like a pass, maybe kind of hope it bounces off somebody skating in, but yeah, he definitely wasn't shooting it.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't play much tonight, but he looked dangerous when he was on the ice. So.
Yeah, he was noticeable when he was on the ice, and that's something he kind of had the Duchesne thing too. Like he's confident when he gets the puck, and I mean, we saw game one he made that fancy move in the first period, but he's not afraid to take the puck and go shoot it, and I really enjoy that in a guy who's a fourth line role, and he still plays that fourth line role, hard checking, get down and dirty. He still does that too,
but can finish.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I thought about this during the game. He was like, he's what we wish Fox had turned into.
Yeah, I guess that's partially true. The last thing I kind of wanted to mention was, and I didn't even really notice this as the game was going on, but we kind of talked about it in the first game. Robertson, kind of quiet, right? Not enough
really.
shots.
No. He hit a lot tonight.
Yeah.
He hit a lot. He was making a lot offensively. It wasn't going.
I think he had a lot of shots that were blocked and hit and missed the net too. So I would kind of disagree with that. I thought he had a pretty good night, better than game one for sure, with Hintz on his line.
Yeah, the hitting was what surprised me a lot. I mean, he had that one shift where he reversed one dude, hit another one, got hit to the ice, and got back up and hit that dude. That was a great shift.
Hey, and that's a great thing for him to learn for playoffs, because, I mean, he had a decent playoffs last year, but if he can learn to have a little bit more of that mustard, that would be some good stuff to remember for late in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, guys, to kind of wrap up, final thoughts here. I'm sad we lost, even though we kind of just lost overtime and we kind of gave up a point to the Vegas Golden Knights, who we are kind of chasing, and we're kind of little brother to them right now because they are the Stanley Cup champions and everything. But it's so early in the season right now, and I'm not even looking forward I'm not even looking at this moment right now. I'm looking way past into the future and looking into the playoffs. And the fact is, we can play with this team. We can absolutely play with this team. And that's the kind of thing that we need to expect from this team come April, May-ish time. So, yeah, we only get the 1 point tonight. But, again, that 1 point may come in handy later in the year. So that's just my final thoughts for tonight.
Yeah, it's a marathon and not a sprint, and we're going to feel that on Thursday when we're going to be playing the Ducks at 9 p.m. We had the opening night game, and then the kind of circle on the calendar game. It's a long season. 80 to go, guys. Buckle.
Like, seriously, we were the last team in the NHL to get to their second game. There are some teams that were playing their fifth game already in the season, and we have played two. So whoever made the schedule, you suck. I hate you.
Yeah, way to give us the 4-day break after the first game. Very useful. Definitely couldn't use that later in the season, probably.
Nope. Okay, and we kind of already did our biggest winner, so let's do our biggest losers. Y'all have a biggest loser for tonight?
James can go first.
All right. Jack Eichel, he had like 8 shots or something and didn't score. That was ridiculous.
I can't believe he didn't score. I thought for sure he
had a lot of good chances.
Yeah, he was really good.
And they just could not hit the open net for some reason.
They could not.
Yeah,
They had like 2 or 3 opportunities to hit the open net, and they didn't even hit one of them. So,
yeah, I think I'm gonna default and give mine to Foxa just because it's every time.
But
Every
Chris
time
5-on-3.
his 5-on-3 was great. Okay,
find
Roddick
somebody
Foxa
else.
in the offensive zone. More specific. I mean, I'm gonna keep saying it until he does something good because every time he's touched the puck past the blue line so far, it's been atrocious. And then, like y'all said, he's been fantastic in his own zone.
Yeah, he pushed the puck past the blue line in his own zone. There you go.
Yeah, no, he's great.
That's
at
it.
that.
That's what he does.
He's fantastic at that.
He should
really
just play
good.
third defenseman.
Yeah.
Honestly.
For me tonight, it's a little bit of the Bonnie and Clyde player tonight, Esa Lindell. I've given him his props for the good plays that he made tonight. He had a good offensive chance, didn't bury it, and he was excellent during the 5-on-3 at the end of the second period. But man, he had some issues tonight with some turnovers and some things. He just looks a little off right now. It makes me wonder if he's fighting something or something. I don't
Why
know.
you always say that? Someone was bad. They must be injured.
Well, sometimes it is that way. Oh. Anyways, anything else, guys?
Nope, I'm tired.
Go to sleep.
Yep. I'm tired too. It is literally 2:00 in the morning for James on the East Coast. So James, thank you for staying up late and doing this with us, despite it being so late. And as always, we want to say thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor for this episode, our podcast, all of THBN. Go and check out StorecasterRemarks.com for all the latest info from us. And there will not be a blog post tomorrow morning because it is already too late. So I will do it sometime during the day tomorrow or maybe even later tomorrow night. So anyways, along with Chris and along with James, my name is Ryan. We'll be back with you guys again tomorrow night for our weekly Wednesday night episode where we'll break down the latest NHL news and the last 2 games that the Dallas Stars have played in the regular season. We hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. We'll see you guys later.